So today I'm going to be talking about sleep and the importance of it, guys. Guys, if we get our sleep right, it is literally the secret weapon to unleashing so much more potential in our lives. We perform better physically, we perform better mentally, we even get better in bed. That's a fact, gentlemen. That's a fact. So if we get sleep right, guys, it really does boost our performance in every element of our life. The fact is, guys, in today's connected world, we are constantly in a sleep deficit. We don't sleep enough. We haven't done for decades, if not centuries. Certainly since the Victorians industrialized everything. Prior to that, we used to listen to our body's circadian rhythm. We got up with the dawn, as in like our natural rhythm of daylight is for operating in, darkness is for sleeping in. And that was certainly true all the way up till the Industrial Revolution. And then since then, we've done nothing but damage ourselves. By the way, I'm speaking from Milton Keynes here, guys. This is our gym, empty gym, very sad. But it's great. It gives us an operation base and we can do lots of stuff from here, produce lots of content, do lots of classes. So that's where we are. So guys, we as a human race have really deprived ourselves of sleep over the last few centuries. And particularly now, that deprivation's just ramped up because we're so always connected on our phones, laptops, with Netflix or Amazon and other movie channels are available, playing constantly, keeping us awake, distracting us, keeping our brains active, but not in a positive way. So, guys, I cannot emphasize enough that, sleep, particularly in these stressful times, is really key to a happy, healthy life. And I'm going to go through some of the, and if I'm referring here, guys, I'm just referring to my notes because this is a written article that I produced that went out to the first lockdown, and I've sort of revamped it a little bit. So what is the right amount of sleep, guys? 8 hours is what we should be getting, ideally, as adults. Can any of you hazard a guess how many hours of sleep a child needs? They need about 12 hours of sleep, especially teenagers. Actually, in teenage years now, it's proven, we used to think, stroppy teenagers lie in bed all day. Actually, teenage years is a time when we need the most sleep in our life, except for when we were babies. So babies, if you think youngsters sleep 12 hours a day, babies need about 16 hours a day of sleep. Okay, so it's really important we get that sleep. So if you think about your children and your babies, they do that, don't they? Because they've got no other distractions. They just sleep and eat and do the stuff they want to do when they want to do it because they've got no other concepts of distractions or anything else like that. So that's why we really need to make sure we get those sleeps. Here we go. So what does sleep do for us? Basically, sleep is our body's natural repair and recharge time. Lots of physiological things happen both with our brain and our bodies. We physically release hormones that start the repair process, all the wear and tear through the day. So our physical muscles get repaired, our bodies relax, our heart rates come down, so our blood pressure drops. That's really, really key, and that's really important. So it's proven that people with reduced sleep, hang on a minute, I'm just going to mute someone. People with reduced sleep suffer from higher blood pressure. I'm just going to admit some people in as well. Higher blood pressure, increased anxiety, and a whole load of other side effects. So higher blood pressure because we don't allow our hearts to relax and recover, which is what they do through the night. We're in that horizontal position. It physically takes the load off our heart. The rest of the time, we stay in an upright position or at least a seated position, and that puts more load on our heart. Yes, the land animal with the biggest heart in the world is a giraffe because it has to pump all that blood up to the top of its head. So if we're in this vertical position all the time, guys, we are putting more load on our heart. So that physical act of being horizontal has a big effect on allowing our bodies to relax and recover and lower our heart rate. That also, we also reduce our stress hormones called cortisol. That gets to someone else. Let's mute you guys. Please mute yourself. Okay, cortisol levels drop as well. That's our stress hormone. And through the night, our brains actually, they don't go to sleep. It's our brain's opportunity to order itself. Think almost like replay. Remember our dreams? We often dream about things that happen during the day, but it gives us ourselves a chance to reorder, rethink about all the things that have happened during the day. Make sense of those things. Again, relating it to now, it's a stressful time. We're getting lots of information, especially when we're connected to our phones and our laptops and things. We're bombarded by 24/7 news and things pop up and social media, our brains need time just to process it. And that time, we can't do it when we're thinking and having to be active and engaging our brain and doing this and that and the other, and watching Netflix and doing our emails. We can't do that. So our brain has to do that, and it does it through the night. So far from going to sleep, our brains actually go into their reboot stage, I suppose, is the best way to think about it. Just ordering things, getting themselves back into where they should be. So lack of sleep or broken sleep reduces our brain's ability to process that information, and it also inhibits decision-making skills. I can speak from experience of severe sleep deprivation when I was in the armed forces, and, well, in training, they do it to you on purpose, but also operationally. We spent days and weeks without anywhere near enough sleep. Or when we did sleep, it was like catnapping, but then we'd be up, operating, getting bombarded, whatever it is, high stress moments, working hard, and then catnapping again. So we never got a quality amount of sleep. And lack of sleep will start playing games. It will start playing games. Anxiety builds. I can tell you that from personal experience. Your anxiety and anxiousness builds, even about stupid things. I remember getting anxious about the queue for the cookhouse, getting fed. It was a stupid anxiety, but I got this daily anxiety. We get reduced ability to think things through clearly, and that was very inhibiting doing our job. And that's one of the things the armed forces spends a lot of money on, is trying to train and brains and make people more efficient at thinking under those periods of duress and lack of sleep. And it really does impair your thought processes. And I've also mentioned it increases the cortisol, which is that stress hormone. So everything seems more stressful in their everyday life. Everything seems more tricky, more difficult, more of a mountain to climb. So also, lack of sleep or sleep has a big effect. It's been proven by scientists now. Very recently, there's been a lot of scientific study into sleep. And one of the big discoveries is that sleep, or lack thereof, has massive influence on our body fat. And the reason is because we talked about other hormones like cortisol, but also the hormone insulin is the hormone that we release to manage blood sugar levels. And that insulin also manages what happens to the energy that's in our body from what we consume. If we have too much carbohydrates or empty carbs or simple carbs, our insulin levels spike and it packages it off into fat cells and it stores it as fat more than to be used by the muscles. So when we have lack of sleep, that affects our body's insulin management system, and it makes us store more body fat. Also, if you have more sleep, you have a higher sex drive. There you go, that's a fact. And also, and at this time here, Dawn's smiling. Look at that. She's like, I'm going to bed now. Also, guys, when we're fully rested, our bodies respond better to illness, as in are more effective at fighting illnesses. So they did trials with vaccines, which is very apt at the moment, isn't it? But they did trials with vaccines, and they had people with a controlled lots amount of sleep, made them have lots of sleep. People going about their control group just having a normal amount of sleep, and then people who are sleep deprived. And between the people who are sleep deprived and those who are having the enforced extra sleep, at least 8 hours a night, there was a 25% difference in their body's ability to fight off and use that vaccine to its ability. Because the vaccine, it infects you with that illness, and then your body gets used to it. A small amount of that illness, and your body gets used to it and then manages it. So it's a 25% difference between those sleep deprived. So that's a quarter better at managing the illness because you're better sleep. And there was about a 15% difference between those who had their normal sleep and those who had that enforced sleep. So even with normal levels of sleep, and the average is about 6 hours a night, but it's quite broken generally these days as well, 6 hours a night, and there's a 15% difference between those, that control group, and the people who had that enforced extra sleep. So guys, hopefully you understand the need for good sleep, and now let's talk about how to get a good night's sleep. That's really what it's all about. So I've separated it, guys. So I've got lifestyle tips. So first of all, I mentioned about the circadian, guys. Our bodies, humans are daylight animals. We should operate during the day and sleep at night. That's naturally our natural state. But obviously we deprive ourselves of that, don't we? And also in this country here, we have long winters and dark nights, so we can't operate just in the daylight hours. But it's important to make our bodies know that it's daytime. So the best way to do that is A, set that alarm nice and early. I'm personal experience. It's becoming daylight about 6:30 in the morning. So I'm up at that time doing stuff for the gym, but get yourself up nice and early. And I'll come back to why you want to set that clock nice and early as well later on. But set yourself up, get you up nice and early. Open the curtains, and even better still, go outside. Straight away, first thing in the morning. Let's say you come downstairs, get your cup of coffee on the go, or whatever it is, getting your breakfast, open that back door and go outside. That is a physical telling your body, ta-da, it's daytime, it's daylight, let's go into operating for the day. Our heart rate will start to increase, and our body will naturally go, this is the right rhythm I should be in. And it will help when we get to the other end of the day when it comes to sleeping. So not only just get some daylight and some fresh air, but try and get some outdoor exercise. Whether it's a brisk walk with a buddy, and guys, at the moment, right, we are allowed to hang out with pals. So in our gym, we're telling people to buddy up, get together with someone, make time, not with your loved ones or your family you spend the whole time with anyway, but to get up, meet up with someone else and go for a lunchtime walk or something like that. Get outside or do a training activity with someone, bike ride, jog, run, whatever it happens it doesn't matter. Get outside every day, get about 30 minutes of daylight, brisk activity, at least a walk, and that will massively help you guys. Going back to waking and sleeping and timings, set consistent times. So I know we have a habit of, hey, it's a weekend, we're going to lie in. And also at the moment, maybe we're thinking, if we're in that position there, I'm furloughed or whatever, it's lockdown, what's the point in getting up early? I don't need to. Guys, try and set that clock so it's consistently and get up early. In a weekend, yeah, give yourself a bit of a lie-in. But I'm talking about don't lie in until midday or late morning. Lie in for a couple of extra hours. Your body will thank you for it. It'll go, that was brilliant, a great night's sleep. But your body will thank you for it later, especially when you go through Saturday, through Sunday, and into that Monday morning when you've got to get up early again, okay, guys? So don't let those long lie-ins. Try and be consistent with your time. Through the week, let's say 6:30 might be my time. 6:30, 7 o'clock is an ideal time because daylight coming, and it's a good time to start the day. Gives you plenty of time to rev up in the morning. Maybe do one of our classes first thing, 7 a.m. Get up then. And even if you're feeling tired, even if the night before you didn't go to sleep for ages and ages and ages. Let's say I didn't go to sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning, stuff was running around my head or whatever. Still, set that time and get up at that consistent time in the morning. Trust me, guys, it will work. If you stay consistent with that wake-up time and try and stay consistent with that going to sleep time, eventually, even those people who suffer from insomnia will get a good night's sleep. It's physically impossible not to. You've just got to be strict with yourself, okay? And the other thing that scientists use or therapists use for people with insomnia is daylight. They actually expose people to daylight lamps, but we've got it for free outside. Just get yourself out there. So if you do suffer from insomnia, set that clock early in the morning, no matter how bad the night's sleep was the night before, and get out in the daylight and use the fresh air. Two really good things, and if you work with them consistently, it works. I can tell you from personal experience, it really works. Okay, cool. Obviously, I'm going to tell you exercise is brilliant for you. Yes, guys, exercising every day. It doesn't have to be a blast. It doesn't have to be like a dumbbell hustle, high-intensity weighted workout, but some kind of exercise. If you've got a MyZone belt, guys, you want to get your heart rate going to the blue into the green. So it's got to be a brisk walk at least. But exercise, daily exercise really helps. Physically tiring yourself, and also it's telling yourself, your body is telling you, yes, I'm active, I'm doing things, this is what I do in the daytime, and then at night time I'm more inclined to sleep. But be warned, guys, don't do that physical exercise too late in the evening. Try not to exercise after 7 p.m. because the endorphins, the adrenaline that you get from that exercise will kick in, will carry on rolling over for a few hours to go. That's why it's such a good thing to do, ideally, in the morning, mid-morning, first thing in the morning, mid-morning, lunchtime, because it really pumps you up for the rest of the day and keeps you going. Look how pumped up I am just because I did a workout. I was like this, but now I'm pumped, I'm fired up. Okay, so those are the lifestyle things that you can do that are really simple. Conditions. Set the conditions of your environment. Guys, our bedrooms should be for sleep. And nowadays we're terrible for this. We'll sit there and we'll sit on our phones, we'll do our emails and we'll have Facebook and watch a movie or whatever. But guys, try and separate all those other activities from your bed space. Use that. That's what your living room's for. It's a simple association thing. If our brains only associate our bedrooms for sleep, sexual activities are allowed. And that's really great. That's great for blokes to get your head down, trust me. Yeah. But basically try and build that association. So sleep only in bedrooms, all other activities, TVs, computers, laptops, even your phones, get them out of your bedroom. They don't need to be there. Because if they're there, you're going to use them. You're going to look at them. We can't help ourselves, can we? The other thing is, that screen time, that blue light that the screens emit, that actually has a detrimental effect on you. It stops your brain from relaxing and for us going to sleep. So try and separate yourself from screen time about 45 minutes to an hour before you want to hit the hay. Okay? So give yourself 45 minutes to an hour screen time break. Fill the time with something else. Maybe listen to some nice relaxing music. Reading, that's a good one. I can guarantee if I start reading, I don't get to the bottom of the page and I'm gone. So, especially if it's a boring book. But basically, reading's a nice, relaxing activity. Your brain can work at its own pace. With the screens, things are being thrown at us. Let your brain do its own thing and discharge itself slowly in that last 45 minutes to an hour before you go to sleep. Guys, make sure the room is set up right as well. Your bedroom needs to be set up right. Particularly in modern homes, if you live in a drafty Victorian or Edwardian house or something like that, you're probably okay because you've probably got a gale blowing through the window panes and everything anyway, so you're fine. But in modern houses, guys, they are almost, especially newer ones, they're almost hermetically sealed, guys. In fact, they get so good at it, they need the artificial ventilation systems. But particularly houses in the 70s, 80s and 90s, they are really badly designed for airflow, okay? More modern homes take that into consideration more. So guys, use a window, open a window. I have our bedroom window open all the time. I turn the heater off and just have the bedroom window just ajar so we create fresh air. And what that does, guys, through the night, it gets the bedroom cooler. The bedroom doesn't want to be like the rest of your house. When you're heating a home, the target temperature is roughly 21 degrees is a comfortable temperature to sit in. Some people have it hotter, but 21 degrees is like the sort of government guidelines. Our bedrooms want to be about 18 degrees or below. That's because our body temperature, our heart rate's slow, and our body temperature starts to drop. And that's the natural state we want to be in when we sleep. We want our body temperatures to start to drop. So that cooler environment helps you sleep. Also, that fresh air, remember I'm talking about circadian rhythms, and natural habitat is caves perhaps, I don't know. But basically, our bodies spent millions of years knowing what the outdoor is like through the night. And in the night, there's a natural temperature drop. The temperature drops between 3 and 4 a.m. to the lowest it is, and then it starts to pick back up as we reach dawn. But between 3 and 4 a.m., you'll notice, if you're ever up at that sort of time of night, a significant temperature drop of 2 to 5 degrees. That's the average, 2 to 5 degree drop, before it then starts to pick up for the dawn. And that's something for millennia our bodies have been used to. So allow your body to sense that. Allow our bodies in our sleep to experience that natural state of that natural dip in temperature and then the natural increase in temperature, which is our cue to us that dawn is coming. We can slowly get to our waking state. Cool. Guys, some of us struggle in a night, like racing minds. This is something I struggle with. My mind starts racing. The thing to do, guys, is have a paper and pen. I was looking for mine there. It's down over there. I won't grab it. But paper and pen by your bed. Not your phone, but paper and pen. So basically, I have the best ideas in the middle of the night. Well, at least I think I do. And I write it down. But then I look at it in the morning. Sometimes it's rubbish. Sometimes it's like, bam, that is brilliant. But 9 times out of 10, I've forgotten what it was until I read it. Okay, so sometimes it might be anxious thoughts. It might be things that damn it, I forgot to do X, Y, or Z. Or I should have done this, that, and the other. Write it down. Physically writing it down, guys, allows your brain to go, it's stored, it's there, it's on that piece of paper. I don't need to worry about it now. I can put it to one side and I can forget about it and I can physically pick it up in the morning. It's really important. I'll tell you what, it works. I've done it myself. It really, really works. You can be having really great thoughts. Get it down, write it down. Otherwise, your brain will keep churning. And there's that little anxiety gremlin in there that says, oh, you mustn't forget this, you mustn't forget this, you mustn't forget this. And then 9 times out of 10 in the morning, you have forgotten it. So write it down, capture it, and then it allows your brain to put it to one side. Top tip, really, really, really works. Make sure our bedrooms are dark. It sounds obvious, but actually with all the natural, the street lighting and stuff that goes on, guys, make sure you get really heavy curtains. That's the answer. Block it out. really block it out. The best night of sleep I ever get is when I go in a hotel, and those hotels always have really heavy curtains, don't they? And they have overlapping curtains, so you do not get any daylight through. Use that, guys. Shut that light out. Artificial light is the devil when we're trying to sleep. Shut it out completely. Really make your room dark as possible. So the right temperature, associating it only with bed and sleep and not other activities, and getting it really, really dark. So another reason to get rid of those phones, because they have little, or computers or laptops or TV standby, they have standby lights and stuff that in the night, they light the place up. If your phone's there and someone flipping, I don't know, does a WhatsApp chat at 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's what people do, isn't it? It lights the room up, yeah? So just switch it off, get rid of it, put it away, put it in a drawer, put it outside the room. That's what you want, complete darkness. Cool. Now I'm going to just spin it back up and just make sure I haven't missed anything. Alcohol. How could I forget alcohol, guys? So eating and drink right. So, guys, alcohol is a really difficult one. At first, it knocks us out. Yeah, we go, oh, we go into a drunken stupor. But actually, it reduces our body's melatonin production, which is our sleep hormone, which helps us to get relaxed and chilled. It reduces that. So 9 times out of 10, if you have a night of drinking, evening of drinking alcohol, you'll wake up in the night needing a wee, and then you'll find it harder to go back to sleep because that melatonin has been reduced and your body wants to go into a wakeful state. Caffeine is another one, guys. Caffeine is something. Try and avoid caffeine after sort of this sort of time in the day, maybe sort of 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the latest. Try and avoid caffeine because it stays in your system for ages. Eating a lighter meal in the evenings is a good way of doing it. Try and front load your day with food. Start your day with a hearty breakfast. Get your day done. It fuels you for hours and hours. Have a good lunch, and then try and have a lighter meal in the evening. I know that's not always possible if you're working in the office and things like that, but try and front load your day and have a lighter meal in the evening. Reduce the amount of protein in your meal in the evening. It's slower to digest and it will keep you awake for longer. And also that evening meal, make sure it's a little bit earlier than probably most people have it. Before 6 p.m. is ideal. Before 6 p.m. is ideal. It gives you time to digest it, use it, burn it, get it out of your system before you go to sleep. And that's the things on eating, guys. So I think I have covered everything I wanted to cover, guys. Now, team, it's basically question and answers. You guys can say whatever you want, ask me any questions, talk about your own experiences if you like, because I find people are really good. They've got experiences, things that they've tried before. Meditation is something you might want to try. But any of you guys, please unmute yourselves and come on, ask me any questions. And give us your experience. It'd be great. Brendan, you've done.
What about afternoon naps?
Yeah, there's no harm in afternoon naps. I mean, the Spanish economy runs on afternoon naps, yes? So there's no harm in afternoon naps. Again, it's a part of our circadian rhythm. It comes about because naturally we should have a big lunch, yeah? Breakfast. So caveman Rob, he's up, he's out, and he might eat leftovers from the night before, first thing in the morning. He might go hunting for gathering berries. Don't pull a face, Dawn. Pizza and cold Chinese from the night before. No, caveman Rob, he's eating leftovers from the night before. But then the morning is spent hunting. And so during the middle of the day, you get your big meal. And that'll be your big feast. And then you get that sleepy time in the afternoon. Guys, I'm sure lots of you notice if you have a heavy meal at lunchtime, particularly carbs, if you have a lot of carbs at lunchtime, it tends to have a soporific effect. So a good thing to do is reduce the carbs, increase the protein at lunchtime, because bearing in mind we want to reduce the protein in the evening. More carbs in the evening gives you that sleepy effect, not too late, and there's nothing wrong if you've got the opportunity to have an afternoon nap, and I have to admit, on a weekend, I like nothing better than reading the Times newspaper and then nodding off and coming back to and watching a good movie or something. But literally, that'll put me to sleep. But it's a really nice thing to do, and there's no harm in it. Any other questions, guys? Thank you, Brendan.
How do you feel about sleep hypnosis videos? Yeah,
I mean, anything that works. If people are struggling with sleep, the best thing to do, try the things that might work for you. That's being strict and in a rhythm. It's the hardest thing in the world when you've had a really bad night's sleep to get up the next morning, yes? That all you want to do is lie in. But that's the last thing you should do. You should get up, set that time. Let's say 7 a.m. That's a reasonable time. 7 a.m., no matter what. come hell or high water, I'm getting up. I'm going to go open that back door. I'm going to go in the garden, get some fresh air, or better still, I'm going to go for a walk. That's the best way to do it. And then make sure you go to bed at, let's say, 10 p.m., half 10, and let your body slow down. You might not go to sleep then, but just stay in bed, stick with it. And again, the next day, 7 a.m. And it will take days. It might take days. It might take some time. But I talk from experience, guys. And this is what people do when they go to sleep therapy and when they have really bad time. This is the way ahead. If you can stick with that, 7 a.m., ruthless with yourself, 10 p.m., 10:30, ruthless with yourself. Even if you don't go to sleep, don't get yourself distracted. It works. After a while, your body resets itself. But yes, if things like meditation with tapes and sleep hypnosis tapes and things like that, they're great. Your brain can just sort of tune in, just sort of relax. It's like me reading my book. I don't have to overthink about it. I'm just reading. My brain just listens as long as it wants to, and then it tunes out. So yeah, it's not a bad thing to do. But honestly, if you're suffering from sleep, try my system. Honestly, I promise you, within a week, you'd have nailed it. Any other questions or things you want to add, guys? Please give us your experiences.